Going live. Well, it says I am live. Howdy, everyone. I hope y'all can hear me. This is Joerg from Dreamland Resort.
It's not live on my end.
It's not live?
There it goes.
There it goes.
I think it's a.
Okay, we are live. Yeah. So howdy, everyone. This is Joerg from Dreamland Resort. This is my first live stream I'm doing here on YouTube, so go easy on me. To help me moderate the chat, I have on my side Miss Linda, my partner in crime, also known as Dragon Rose. There she is.
Night.
She'll be keeping an eye on the chat. And, well, let's just jump right in. I'm going to, first of all, folks, thank you for joining me. I see there's already 14 people in this stream. That is awesome. I am really blown away by the support that I'm getting. This is new to me. This is awesome. I really enjoy doing this, and I enjoy this medium to directly share my Area 51 research with you guys. So let's jump right in. To give you a little bit of a rundown, I'm going to first share my history, how I got interested in Area 51, military aviation, and how I got into my research, how my website started 25 years ago now. I'm also going to tell you about the FBI raid 2 years ago on my homes, both here in Las Vegas and in Rachel. That shook us quite a bit, came out of nowhere. I'll tell you all about it. I'll also give you a link so you can read more on my related website. And then, of course, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this YouTube channel that I just started last year. I'm going to take some questions if there are any. If you have questions, please try to keep them until I'm ready to take some questions so it doesn't interrupt all the time. If you have anything urgent, put it in all caps and Linda will keep an eye on it and let me know. After those questions, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my website, of my Dreamland Resort website that contains over 25 years of Area 51 research. And then I'm going to walk you through Area 51. We're going to take a tour of Area 51 in Google Earth. I'll point out some buildings of interest. I'll talk about some projects going on there. And I'll also tell you where you can find a detailed map with labels to all the buildings at Area 51. All that in the second part of this live stream. After that, I'm going to take some more questions and let's see how it goes. So here we go. As you can probably tell from my strong Las Vegas accent, I was not born in this country. I was born and grew up in Germany in a small town near Hanover in the northern part of what used to be West Germany. I've always been very interested in military aviation, fascinated with it. I have vivid memories of little Joerg, probably about 8 years old, standing at the fence at the Hanover Air Show and watching in awe the displays of aviation going on there. Particularly fascinated by the Harrier, still an awesome machine. I still have memories of that thing hovering in front of the crowd, making awful ruckus, blowing like crazy, and it was just, I was hooked. So, of course, then years later, my interest in military aviation grew, and after studying in Hanover, electrical engineering, working in Berlin for about almost 9 years. I was living in Berlin when the wall came down, pretty exciting times back then. So in 1995, after many years of kind of laboring over the idea, I finally decided to move to the United States. The time was right. I was a software developer. I moved to the San Francisco Bay Area. Silicon Valley was right there. it was very easy for me as a German national to find a job there, to get a work permit, and to get settled here. So not long after that, around 1998, it solidified in my head. Area 51 was always this vague thing. You see it in movies, and no, it's a real place. It's a place in Nevada, not very far away from the Bay Area, less than a day's drive, and I can go visit it. Wow, I gotta see this. So in late 1998, actually the day after Christmas, 1998, I made a day trip to Area 51, to the perimeter of Area 51. And like most of you who have been there, I had no idea what to expect. You're driving through the desert. You see off to the right on a hilltop, on a mountaintop, you see this radar installation that is kind of spooky. And then you get to the perimeter, you get to the border, security patrol on the hill watching you. Signs, back then there was no gate, there was just signs there telling you that you can be shot if you go further. Whoa, what is this? Why are they feeling the need to threaten people in such a way? I got to know more about this. So I was, like most of you guys, kind of scared what to do, and so I turned the vehicle around. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Leaned out the window, snapped a few pictures, and got the hell out of there. Of course, nobody even stopped us, or it was pretty much a day-to-day occurrence. Tourists go out there, take their pictures, and go home happy. So little stop at the Little Alien for lunch, and then on the way back, I got hooked. It started getting dark, and I kind of got a glimpse of the night sky over Area 51, and it was, I got to come back. Thank you. I just see Brown Country, Indiana. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it. So, okay, I get back to my little story, and I promise I'm going to make it short. I had some time on my hands. I was in the lucky position to be between jobs with some, a little packet that I got from a previous job. So I spent some time. I camped out around Area 51, learned about what's really going on there, hiked the perimeter, did all the things that I wanted to do. And the more questions I got answered, the more questions formed in my head. So, okay, I got to come back. So by that time, I had a little SUV, a little Ford Explorer. I camped in the back of my Explorer for about 6 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, exploring the perimeter, learning about Area 51. And I realized that, hey, I'm not the only one who has this problem, that there's no information about Area 51. People want to know about it. I know how to do websites. Let me do a website. And that's what I did. And that's where Dreamland Resort started, my biggest website. I'm going to post a link for you in the chat. That website still is still up. It still looks very much like it did the day when I first started it. Yes, it's a very 90s design. That's the way I like it. Linda Chuckers. That's the way I like it. And it's functional, it's quick. I'm not using a lot of fancy stuff. You find what, I hope at least, you find what you're looking for fairly easily. It contains anything from visitor information, people that come to Area 51 for the first time, do's and don'ts, what you can do, what you can't do, camping, tips, anything for first-time visitors, frequently asked questions, how is self-service there, pretty much non-existent, by the way, and all that good stuff for first-time visitors. I also put on it a list of frequencies that I had. In the meantime, I had acquired a scanner to listen to the frequencies, to the radio traffic in Area 51. So This frequency list grew out of control. It's a huge list these days. I'll show you when I walk you through my website later. I also put a lot of coordinates of places of interest in the area, camp spots, and so forth. But by far, the biggest and most notable feature of my website was the discussion forum. It's a very simple software. It's lacking a lot of fancy features, but it works. I've had it for almost 25 years, almost as old as my website itself. That discussion forum literally blew up. I had no idea when I started this website that there were so many people out there that were interested in Area 51 and that just had no way to connect to each other. You know, there was all these little islands of people interested in Area 51, but
Here's a question.
okay, what happened? Oh my God, Wolfbane! I haven't heard that in a while. He just disappeared. We've had that over the years several times that somebody pops up who may or may not, who portrays themselves as having some inside intel, which may or may not be the case. There's other names. I don't want to rattle them all off, but short answer, Wolfbane disappeared like all the other ones. My credo is, and always has been, people that talk about Area 51, inside information of Area 51, don't know anything. And the people that have inside information on Area 51 won't talk about it. So I'm very skeptical about some of these people. I can't for sure, I don't know. All I know is every single one of them, after a while, disappeared. And I had no further contact after that. So anyway, getting back to the discussion forum, the big feature, people flocked to the forum. I actually inherited a couple of other Area 51 research websites. People that got tired of it. They donated their website. It's all become part of Dreamland Resort. And in the beginning, I had some advertisements to finance a website. And then many years ago, I did away with it. I basically said, okay, I'm going to do an experiment here. I don't want advertisements when I go to some other websites. I don't like it. So probably you guys coming to my website don't like it either. So I did away with it. And I said, okay, look, here's a goal that I would like to get every month to, pay for my website, pay for stuff that I have to acquire, and, pay a little bit for the hours and hours of time that I'm spending on running this website. This has worked so well that for, I think it's about 6 years now, for 6 years and running every single month, we have made goal. And for that, I thank you all, those that have donated.
That was our question.
And I really, really appreciate the support from you guys. How important that is, I'm going to get back to that in a little bit later. So where's Bob Lazar? What's your opinion on Bob Lazar? My opinion on Bob Lazar is that he has a great story. Unlike others, he stuck to his story and he's done what a lot of other people don't do. He sometimes just said, that wasn't my job, I don't know. So he has a good story. I'm very skeptical based on several factors, his credentials, his his education credentials, where he claims to have studied at a university. At the same time, there's records of him working full-time on a full-time job in a different state. He can't remember the names of his professors at the university. I'm 63 years old. I can still probably rattle off 10 names of professors that I've had when I studied electrical engineering. You don't forget these names and other things. Aside from the fact that I don't think there's anything like UFOs at Area 51, but now I'm giving away something that I wanted to really not give away this early on. And I have my reasons for that. I'll tell you about that later. So yeah, I'm very, very skeptical about Bob Lazar, and he has other issues in his life history that would pretty much disqualify him from ever being hired at Area 51. Is that another question?
Yes, Art Bell.
Art Bell, yeah. Oh my God, folks, it's great that I'm seeing all these, that I'm getting all these questions. I appreciate it. I would still like to get on with my story. Art Bell, I really haven't listened to him all that much. I've worked at the time, so I really didn't get to listen to nighttime radio all that much. He did a great job getting the community fused together, getting a lot of different people from a lot of different areas together. For my opinion, he was a little out there sometimes, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and he certainly did a great job in fusing this or founding this community long before Dreamland Resort or anyone else was even there. So definitely kudos to him, and I appreciate what he did. And later on, George Norrie, and of course, George Knapp still doing it. I've been on Coast to Coast 3 times over the years. So yeah, so much for Art Bell. Great guy. He went too soon, but I have a lot of admiration for what he did. All right, so getting back to my little story here. Over the years, I spent the first few years, it was exciting. I did so many things. I had a group hike that I brought up to Tikaboo, a group of almost 20 people that I led up to Tikaboo Peak, the only mountaintop where you can see Area 51 in the distance. Exciting things like that. The first ever live radio broadcast from Tikaboo Peak, which unfortunately was not archived anywhere, but it happened. All these exciting things. And, I spent a lot of time camping in the desert, camping near the Black Mailbox, meeting people that came out there for UFO watching. And, over the years, I kind of saw a pattern there. People come out there and they want to see UFOs. They come out there with the expectation of seeing UFOs. And by God, they will see a UFO. They see what I know full well to be a jet airliner, a commercial airliner going by the test site on the other side, on the Beatty side, Highway 95 corridor. And it's a moving light over Area 51, so it's got to be a UFO. And then I had my own sighting, and that was, I would say, that was a turning point in my UFO agenda. When I first came to Area 51, I was open in all directions. I didn't know what to think. Are there UFOs? Is that military tech? Whatever. One day I was camping out there in the desert. It was pitch dark. I look up in the night sky and I see what I thought is a huge disk. I mean, huge disk, big, much bigger than the moon, hovering in the sky with what I perceived as orange lights all the way around it. Oh my God, they're coming to get me. The mothership. It's all true. It took about 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and I realized what it was. It was part of the red flag exercise that was going on. Part of the exercise is to practice evasive maneuvers, and this was a jet that was chased by somebody else who had heat-seeking missiles, simulated heat-seeking missiles on board. So the guy, in order to divert the heat-seeking missiles, popped what they call flares. It's like fireworks, if you will, magnesium flares, very, very hot burning, that are hotter than the exhaust of the jet, that are supposed to divert heat-seeking missiles. And of course, a jet at that point flies an evasive pattern, which is a fancy word for a curve. So the jet is flying a curve, pops these flares, and so you got all these flares in a semicircle in the sky. Bright orange, big semicircle, but it's nothing but flares. So that was kind of a turning point, and I realized, and I've actually had somebody on TV in one of the UFO shows describe something exactly similar to the T and claim it was a UFO sighting. That's when I realized it is so easy to be deceived by something you don't know that is very earthly in origin. And I really the more I learned about these things, became a skeptic. I'm open to UFO. I'm listening to UFO stories, but for the most part, as far as Area 51 is concerned, I don't think there are any UFOs. I don't think they are interested in us. There's people there's probably I'm sure there's civilizations out there somewhere, but why would they be interested in us? I mean, to them, we are like an anthill to us. So I just don't think they would be interested. I see the question. That they would even be interested in us, and if they come by, I always say if they come by Earth, they would probably put up a big sign up in space that says, "Stay away from these people. They're crazy." So much for the UFO. So let me get back. There's a couple of questions coming to Rachel next week. I normally, sorry to say, I normally don't. There's one exception. I help out with tours. A German tour guide who brings German tourists up there. I help him out with the tours. I honestly, I really don't. I'm probably not even going to be in Rachel. I hate to be that way, but really, I got stuff to do. I actually have my work cut out for me. Currently, I'm in Vegas. I'm heading back to Rachel, and I got a lot of stuff to do on my property. So I probably, as much as I hate to say, probably won't have the time to do that. Dugway Proving Ground, Utah. I don't know much about it. What I do know about it is that it is probably overrated. There is some stuff going on there. I don't know really what is going on. As far as stuff from Area 51 moving to Dugway, no, I don't think so. The infrastructure at Area 51 for these kind of tests and missions is unique. You can't just pick up and move it. So there's probably some stuff going on, Dugway Proving Ground, bomb tests and missiles and that kind of stuff. But I think it's not really closely related to Area 51. And from what I hear, you can actually pretty much drive right up to the perimeter of the proving grounds. But again, I apologize, I'm not too intimately familiar with that. Is there a statute of limitation for the FBI Air Force to return your property? Yes, there is. 5 years. So they have 5 years out of right now. We're into it a little over 2 years. I'll talk about the raid later. So they still have 3 years to hold my stuff, and I can't do anything about it. After 5 years, beginning from the raid on November 3, 2022, they have 5 years from that date to press charges or return my property. And I know they're not going to press charges.
Go back to Salt Avocado.
Where's that?
Right up the Dugway. He's talking about pictures.
Is that what OSI is using against you?
But you have to go above.
You have pictures from the drone in one of your videos looking above the back gate. Looking above. I have no such thing on my website. I have a picture of the back gate taken from the air on my website that wasn't taken by me. Other than that, I have 0 drone pictures, footage, video on any of my sites that show Area 51 or any related facilities. So that is not what this was all about. There were some questions during the interrogation about my drone. They took my drone. They have all the records. The flight logs are preserved, so they can look at the flight logs, and they would see that I never flew my drone anywhere close to Area 51 or the back gate or anything else. Okay, folks, I'm trying to catch up with the question here. How long have the US had operational hypersonic aircraft? Probably for a good decade, maybe 2. We know that they're always keeping us in the dark and the latest and greatest. they say what happens at Groom is about 30 years advanced over what we perceive as state of the art. So if they tell us that we have hypersonic aircraft today, and we just got them, that means we actually got them. So we probably had them for a couple of decades at least. That's fair.
Next
I'm a
question.
girl who posted months ago about wanting to visit Rachel since I was 15. Okay, that's great. Again, I apologize. I just don't have the time. I hope you have a great time. If you have any questions, by all means, email me, and I'll be more than happy to give you some pointers. I just really won't have the time. Very plain and simple. I have to say that plain and simple.
Go to David Rose's question.
If you camp for multiple days on Tikabo Peak with video equipment and night vision, do you think the ghost hawks? Yes, they will. There's actually someone who has done just that. And there's a trip report. I think it's in the trip report section of my website. Michael from Poland, who's contributed a lot of great stuff to my website, photography from Tikabo. There is audio of scanner audio that we picked up where the Black Hawk came out to look at him on Tikabo and radioed back that we have, what do they call it, Watchdog Tango or something like that, basically somebody on Tikabo watching. And then the next transmission was, okay, we are done for the day. There was a test ramping up, and they basically scrapped the test because he was up there. Oh, there's a German fan.
Ja.
Ja, gerne. Danke auch fürs Zuschauen aus Deutschland. Ich mache auch noch mal einen deutschen Chat hier. I'm going to do a German chat very soon too from my fans from Germany. Obviously, there's a lot of people in Germany interested in this too. Do we have another question?
Yeah, about the church. Mike D-Man.
Yeah. What's going on with those people who bought the church near Area 50? Well, the church is in Rachel. It's not anywhere near Area 51. It's a YouTuber. I don't want to go into details. I don't have anything to do with them. All I can say is the church is more than 30 miles away from Area 51, contrary to what they claim. Yeah, technically, my house is actually a little bit closer to Area 51 than the church. I mean,
Go back to Assault Avocado. He's mentioned that you had a still picture, not a video.
No.
Just,
okay, I have one still shot of the back gate taken from the air on my website. I did not take that photo, and it wasn't taken with a drone. It was taken from a small aircraft. Let's see. Is there a question? What do you think most the scramjets? What proportions are they having today? Do they have? I am not familiar with anti-friction technology. I'm assuming that the poster is referring to plasma, the aircraft basically being wrapped in plasma to reduce drag. Again, scramjets, they've mastered them a long time ago. I'm certain of that. They don't send me memos what they do at Area 51, so I can only guess. But again, they are way further ahead than what we think, and that's a good thing. You know, let me say this. Maybe take this opportunity to say this. Our group, my website, my YouTube channel, we don't aim to spy on Area 51. We like to satisfy a need of people to chat about it, to exchange about it, to exchange unclassified information about it. To the best of my knowledge, nobody on my website has ever divulged any classified information. I never have, and that's not what my website stands for. We stand for keeping people organized that come out to the area anyway. Give them a little bit of guidance, you know, don't do this, don't do that. This is okay to do. For instance, I have a whole page dedicated to flying drones around the area, do's and don'ts. I see myself on my website as doing the folks at the base service a favor. There was no need to come down on me the way they did. I understand that they saw the need to send a message, and that's all that it was. Talk about if we still have time. We seem to be running late already. Um, I have as much time as we want. Until you guys get tired of it. But anyway, we don't want to divulge anything. And I always tell people, if the Chinese, the Russians, whoever wants to hurt our country, if they need that intel that I have on my website, then their intelligence apparatus is not doing their job. They know so much more about Area 51 than I will ever know. And they don't need me. They don't need my website. They don't need to watch my YouTube channels. I had some people that voiced some concern about my recent YouTube video where I talked about, where I took you guys up to the power lines overlook. You can listen to Janet's all day long. I can listen to Janet's here from Las Vegas. It's no big deal. I don't hurt anyone by putting that on YouTube. I didn't show the frequencies, if you noticed. So no, there's limits to everything. There's stuff that I have not put on my website that I don't know what it means. So I figured I better don't put it on the website. People have asked me about certain frequencies, about locations of certain security features that I've always denied anyone. I have never given that information to anyone. And FBI, if you're listening, that is the God's honest truth. I am not a threat. And I have many times said on my website, you can read the discussion forum has, I think, 20 plus years of history. You can go through the discussion forum and you can count how many times I have posted in the forum. If ever I have anything on my website that I'm publishing that should not be there, that should, for national security reasons, not be there, I would hope somebody would let me know and I will take it off, no questions asked. I am an American by choice. I believe in this country, into this country because I want to be part of it. I have not regretted that step one single day, and I would never do anything to hurt this country. That's not what my website does. For the bird, this is what is he asking for? The birds or mass casualty responses? Is it possible that Ericsson has agreements with state and local governments for such an event? Absolutely. I would be very disappointed if they didn't. They cooperate, of course, with law enforcement in Lincoln County. I'm sure they also cooperate with state and national law enforcement. They are prepared for pretty much anything and everything. And I'll tell you a little bit about the Storm Area 50 event later, where that became pretty evident.
The one right above it.
Yeah, I understand your viewpoint about UFOs. So then would it be correct that you have never witnessed odd behaviors at right angle turns, very fast accelerating orbits? I have and I haven't. It is a known fact that they actually used to put on light shows for the UFO crowd outside the boundary. I have seen lights that zip around and make weird turns, but really only lights, similar to what you would see at a mall, those searchlights that go in the sky, something like that. I know my good friend Chuck Clark has had a sighting like that. I take his word for it. He's not a BSer, so I really, all I can say is I have never had a sighting like that. It is very easy to misunderstand things. Like, for instance, let me give you an example. You're out there in the desert and you're watching a car driving down the dirt road, and boom, the car disappears, and then the car, boom, pops up here. There could be two cars and it's terrain. You're going up and down. So this car goes in a dip, this car comes out of a dip, and the light jumps from here to there. I'm not saying that's the case in every situation, but I have never seen anything that I couldn't explain. What I have seen is, and a number of my friends and Rachel have seen that as well, aircraft making maneuvers that I don't believe a manned aircraft, normally manned aircraft, making maneuvers that normally an aircraft would not be capable of doing, and a pilot in the aircraft wouldn't survive. So I'm pretty sure that they are flying F-22s, I think it was at the time, that are unmanned, that can do stuff that a manned F-22 can't do because the G-forces. So I have seen aircraft doing stuff that I wouldn't think possible, but I've never seen anything that I couldn't, after some thinking, explain. How active is a military airband on average night? Totally depends. It could be from complete radio silence to so much chatter that you can't keep up. They like to do tests on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Typically, it starts ramping up about 11:30. Around midnight, the mission aircraft take off. And a lot of it is actually in the clear. You can listen to it on VHF or UHF air. But you don't know what's going on because they say, okay, mission aircraft, call sign, blah, 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 Sabre is the room call sign. So let's say Sabre 4-1, card 1. Okay, what's card 1? Card 1 is typically getting ready for taxi, and then so on, card 2, card 3, card 4, and the pilot, of course, knows what these cards mean. So the pilot executes a number of maneuvers, beginning with taxiing, taking off, getting up to altitude, getting up to the mission points, and so forth. So you can listen to it, and you have a lot of those recordings on my website, but you don't know what it means. They talk about point 1, point 2, point 3. I don't know where those points are. So I can listen to it, but after a while, call signs begin to make sense. Certain features begin to make sense. So if you do this for a while, you can guesstimate a little bit what's going on. And it was actually a funny thing during the interrogation with the FBI and OSI, when OSI asked me, well, how do you know so much about what's going on during our missions? I said, well, you guys got to change up your call signs sometimes. If you use the same call signs over and over, sooner or later, I'll figure it out. So again, folks, you're welcome. That was a free tip from my side.
Check question. Bush green.
I lost track where we were.
Bush green.
Bush green, okay.
Too far.
Chuck Clark ever showed you the footage he has of classified aircraft? We never got around to that. We talked about it. I have no reason to question it. As far as I know, he still has it locked away. He doesn't want to, he's just like me. He doesn't want to cause any trouble for anyone. So he never published that footage. I have seen other footage that he had that very few people have seen, but not that particular video footage. Absolutely. Do I ever travel to other cool? Well, Tonopah Test Range is pretty much right around the corner. We go to Tonopah for shopping from Rachel. So if Tonopah Test Range is right there. I don't spend as much time up there as I would like to. I listen to their radio comms and to their missions. I can pick that up from Rachel. China Lake, I haven't been there in a long, long time. I used to go there quite frequently when I was still living in California, coming through on my way to Rachel. It's definitely a place to keep an eye on. There's a lot of cool stuff, including the B-21, of course, at Edwards. There's a lot of cool stuff happening at China Lake, Edwards, and Palmdale, Plant 42. People in that area, keep your eyes open. Area 51 is not the only place where cool stuff happens. Did the FBI? Well, no. No, they didn't. They were actually fairly courteous, I have to say. All things considered, we had a somewhat civilized conversation. And I understand they are not the enemy. They were misled in what to believe. I know you're joking with that question, but that gives me a chance to talk a little bit about that. They actually voiced surprise about my house, that I have an American flag in front of my house, the way I present myself. They expected something very different. One of the first questions when they dragged me out of my house in handcuffs was if there were any booby traps. And I said, what are you talking about? I'm a retired software developer. I don't have any booby traps in my house. I never saw the need for booby traps. So I think they were led to believe something very different about me and my website and our group than the reality proved to be. And I think there's a lot of people with a lot of egg on their face at the FBI. I don't hold anything against them. They are doing their job, and they probably right now have other problems than me. Back in the days, is that a question? Or
No.
That's a question.
Just a comment about CB radios.
And guys, I appreciate your comments. I'm going to go through this. I can replay this. I'm going to go through this later and read all of it.
The next one is the
Could the Air Force use encryption on their scanner frequencies? Absolutely, and they do. There are at least two different encrypted radio systems, one for air-to-air traffic or aircraft traffic, that is called half-quick. It's basically a frequency hopping a system. I'm not going to go into details. I talked a little bit about that, I think, in my scanner video. It's a timing synchronized frequency hopping that is very, very difficult to track. And there's also an encrypted trunking system for ground communications. There's two different trunking systems. There's one for the Nevada test site, for the what used to be the Nevada test site, now the NNSS, Nevada National Security Site, that is mostly unencrypted. And then there is the trunking system that is used by TTR, Area 51, and security inside the NTTR. That is encrypted. Every once in a while, you catch an unencrypted transmission when somebody screws up and doesn't turn their encryption on. But for the most part, that is encrypted. So yes, they can encrypt stuff. For test flights, they have what they call, what is it called again? I'm trying to think of the term now. I got it all in my scanner glossary. It's basically a, Jesus Christ, what is it called? Guys, don't get old. It sucks when the memory goes. Anyway, it is basically a way they transmit the audio from the aircraft to the ground, piggybacking on the data stream for the telemetry. And that is impossible to monitor, but oftentimes during missions, I hear that it fails. So they fall back to being what they call in the clear. And that means they're using frequencies that are clear that I can listen to, and they have to resort to these code words, cards, and so forth.
Here's a question, the last one.
Could see. Yeah, the encryption, I talked about that.
No. Bush screen.
Oh, I don't see that. Did
The
I?
last question.
I don't see that.
Oh, well, I have it on my screen.
That is weird. What are they
The
asking?
question is, who do you reckon is behind the raid on your house? Was it Area 51 themselves?
Good question. I don't know why I'm not seeing it here. Thank you for that. The way I can piece together the pieces of information that I'm getting is someone very high up. Okay, no, that's a different question. Someone very high up in the food chain saw some of the material that I'm posting on my website, misunderstood what we are doing, what my website stands for, had a fit. And when people high in the food chain have a fit, that usually isn't very good for the people below them. So somebody deflected from what I understand, I can't go into details here, but from what I understand, somebody deflected to a different publication, and I can't get into details here. And that publication is a little bigger than my website, and they deflected through their lawyers at me. And that's how they ended up at me. Was it somebody from Area 51? Was it somebody at the Pentagon? I really don't know.
That's weird.
But that person, I hope, by now realizes that I am not a threat. So, okay, where were we?
David Rose
Yeah,
question. to the exotic
Yeah, I
project?
don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, that's only one
They
didn't show up,
censored that from my stream. They are
That's-
listening.
but they didn't censor mine.
No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Do the exotic
Well, how
projects being tested typically stay in the test site airspace? Yes. Or do they transit to the Pacific? Oh, yeah, the Pacific corridor. Very good, very good, very good. A lot of it, as far as fighter jet stuff, unmanned stuff, stays in the test site. The test site is a huge test site that is already restricted airspace. So at night they can play in that airspace all day long to their heart's content, and most of the stuff happens within the confines of the test site of the NITR and TTR. Of course, there is stuff like the hypersonic stuff that needs to go offshore to the Pacific coast to test it. And yes, there are what they call altitude reservations occasionally, basically corridors of airspace being blocked off to transit stuff from Area 51 to.
Live message, go up there where it says top chat and drop that down. You're just seeing top chat, go live chat. Now you'll have all your questions. You're not
Okay.
missing much.
Okay,
You didn't miss anything.
okay.
Thank you, Bush Green.
Thank you. Thanks for the tip. I am learning as I'm going along. So folks, feel free to point me in the right direction here. So yeah, there's these altitude reservations going to shuttle things to Plant 42, Palmdale, or to offshore test sites in the Pacific Ocean where they, St. Nicholas Island is one of the places where they have a lot of stuff, where a lot of tracking goes on. So yes, they absolutely bring stuff out on reserved airspace corridors. Those are actually published in the NOTAMs, Notice to Airmen. You can Google that. You can look for certain airports, certain areas, and you will see these reservations pop right up. Sometimes somebody posts them in my discussion forum, but they've become so frequent, honestly, that people really sometimes don't even bother to post them anymore. But yes, there's totally stuff going from Area 51 off of the coast and going, way out in the Pacific and doing their thing out there. Momentum is currently hired by the security of the facility. Oh, that's just a statement. Yes, they are hiring. Security personnel. And again, the camel dudes. People always say, "Oh, we got to follow the camel dudes when they come out of the Janets and follow them home and question them." They don't know a damn thing. They do security. They are private
They
security.
didn't get a job there.
Good question. I actually have, folks. Linda just said maybe you can get a job there. Years and years and years ago, when it was still JT3, I have actually, when I already had my website up, I have actually applied to the JT3 website as a software developer. They're probably still laughing about my application. I never got back from them. So yeah, they are looking for all kinds of positions, and some say the camo dudes are bored all day. Some say it's a great job. Personally, I think it's a job like any other job, and they don't know all the secrets of Area 51 either. Any tips? Yeah, that's a broad question. Go to my website. Let me post it again, dreamlandresort.com, and go to the visitor and frequently asked questions section, and you will find a lot of info, more than I could possibly even tell you about in a day worth of time here. We consider a long range for. Well, that gets very technical. I have not. Again, I'm not looking to spy on Area 51. I don't own night vision goggles. I'm somewhat limited as far as what I can spend on this. After all, this is not a job. This is a hobby. So no, I haven't considered that. I've heard stories of somebody flying a drone in Area 51 airspace, bragging about it, and that might have caused the raid on my house. I don't know if that's true or not. Again, I am not looking to spy on Area 51, and I have no plans on really flying anything with a FLIR over the ranges or anything like that. I would discourage people from doing that. There was the schedule of the white bus is actually posted on my website. Go to the Area 51 section, and it's somewhere under Area 51 perimeter or something like that, a page about the white bus, and the schedule is right there. Well, most to visit Tikaboo, the gates to see something interesting, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. People at the base work 4/10s. That means they work Monday through Thursdays mostly. And typically it takes a day to set up a test. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the busiest days for tests. And then Thursdays things wind down, sometimes Thursday night, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the busiest days. Supposedly here, everyone transitional scanner in Las Vegas. No, not stuff that happens on the way far south end of the range. You might pick up from Las Vegas hotel room with a good antenna, but you'd really have to be facing. You'd have to be high up in a hotel and facing the test site, so kind of facing northwest. You may hear faint transmissions of missions going on, but I wouldn't bet on it. Well, that's somebody walked at Site 4, so then you know that Site 4 is nowhere near Groom. It's actually near Tonopah Test Range. It's an electronics combat range. Site, been visiting. Thank you so much for your thing. Thank you for acknowledging that, and I appreciate that, and my pleasure. I love sharing all this, and I love the interest in all this. Yeah, the FLIR. Okay, that's so. The adventure with Christian guy. He simply got tired of being harassed by someone. I don't want to go into details, but he was basically doing something very similar much earlier on than somebody else who jumped in that same niche and started harassing him, and kind of he got tired of it and moved on. I'm still in contact with him. He's a nice guy, but he just doesn't do videos anymore.
This one about stepping on Mars, can I comment on that?
Do you think they have already stepped on Mars? Go for it, baby. I don't. Linda would beg to differ. I would love to think there is a secret space program, but unfortunately, I'd have to see it to believe it. But then it wouldn't be secret anymore. So I'll let Linda respond to that. I don't believe they are on Mars. I don't believe we have a secret base on the moon. I would love to find out that I'm wrong, and if anyone has a base on Mars or on the moon or wherever, I hope it's us, not somebody else. We choose the VR and listen. Yeah, the VOR. Last time I was up at the power lines, the VOR was down. I was actually trying to record it, and that day it was down, and actually having to give weather info on the local channel to the approaching channel pilots. So I'm glad that you enjoy that. Does not believe. Oh, that was you. Okay. All right. So there was a lot of questions. And we're already almost an hour into it. I thought at this point we'd be about 10 minutes into it. So I'm gonna just continue with my story a little bit. I really want to, before you guys have to move on, I really want to show you the website and the, of course, a little bit of Area 51 on Google Earth. So over the years, I learned more about Area 51. I ran the scanner. I learned how to interpret what I'm hearing, and it is not secret. I want to make that very clear. I never received secret information. FBI, do you hear that? I never received anything classified to my knowledge. It's all just from talking to people in my discussion forum. That is the best source of information. If anyone wants to know, just listen to the people that talk about this. In my forum, in other forums, there's at least one other forum that is very popular that people exchange information about Area 51. It's nothing secret. I'm not using any download it. I'm not a hacker. I never hacked into anything in my life. It's not what I do. I just listen, process, and compile information. So anyway, where was I? Okay. So over the years, I learned more about Area 51, and I also wanted to plug this a little bit at least. I also started a website about the town of Rachel, which is very near and dear to my heart. It is my new home. Not a lot of people know about Rachel, and there was really no history that was written in Rachel. So I started a website. It became the official website of the town of Rachel, sanctioned by the town elders. And here is the address. It's still up. It just wants to compile the history of Rachel, make people, show people this is what Rachel looks like. If you're interested, go to the website. I got a lot of drone videos on that website, flying over, not over Area 51, sorry, flying over ghost towns and filming ghost towns, showing people the beautiful country that we have all around us. So that's the Rachel website. To speed this up a little bit, in 2002, I moved to Las Vegas. I became a proud American citizen. Again, citizen by choice. I became American citizen in 2002, and then I met a very interesting guy. I met T.D. Barnes, who is the president of an organization called the Roadrunners. The Roadrunners is an organization of people that have worked at Area 51 and that have really worked at Area 51, not they claim to have worked there. There's proof for that, and I'll show you that in a minute. And these people have worked there in the 50s and 60s. Their projects, the spy planes, had long been declassified, and they can talk about it. So they used to have gatherings, and TD introduced me in that group. I became an associate member, a very proud associate member of that group. TD and I became good friends, and that is also one of the websites that I'm currently maintaining. I sort of inherited that website. I want to share that link with you also. It's a great resource of information about the history of the early history of Area 51. Great stories from the people that have worked there, pictures of Area 51, the way it looked in the 50s and 60s. It's just unbelievable. I can't tell you all. You just got to go to that link, check it out. It is unbelievable. These people did things in total secrecy. They couldn't even tell their wives. They flew on Monday morning. They flew out on a plane. They came back on Thursday night or Friday afternoon, and couldn't even tell their wives what they did all week, where they were. Their wives had a phone number that they could call in an emergency, and that was it. So great people. TD and his wife and Linda and I, we are very good friends, and I appreciate that decade-old friendship now. So again, I started more and more monitoring Area 51, and later on, I retired in 2016. Had a lot more time on my hands, so I kind of intensified my research a little bit. Got into the next step of radio scanning, which is software-defined radios. The software-defined radio, basically, it's a receiver that is controlled by the computer, and you leave it up to the computer software, specialized to what you want to do to accomplish the task that you want to do. I talk a little bit and show you a little bit about that in my scanner video. I don't want to get into too much detail. It's already getting late, and I don't want you guys to lose interest here. So software-defined radio, big step forward in my research. I learned a lot about a lot of things. Some things I don't want to talk about. Some things I do talk about in my scanner video, which is one of my most popular videos. Check it out. I plan on doing a follow-up, maybe even a live stream when there's a mission going on at Area 51 to show you really what I'm doing with these things. So so far, so good. I don't see any more questions.
Last question, last line.
Excuse me.
Steve King.
Do you have any information on white sands, New Mexico? Honestly, very little. I know that there is tests going on. It's mostly more missile tests, but I don't want to mislead anyone, so I'd rather admit right here and there that I don't have a lot of information on white sands. It's an interesting place and certainly worth a visit if you're interested in that. Okay, so here I am learning about Area 51, and other than that, enjoying my retirement. And one day in late 2022, I wake up early in the morning. Well, I like to sleep late, so it was about 8 something. Banging in my house, a voice shouting, "Joerg Arnu, this is the FBI. We have a search warrant." This is not good. They are in my house. That means they broke through my fence. They crossed my property. They are in my house. They broke the door. They are in my house. This is not good. So I go out there. And I guess if that I hope that the what do you call it, the what do you call it, the camera that they carry, the
Yeah,
senior moment again. Anyway, I hope that the footage that they took, each one of them is carrying a camera, obviously. I hope that footage gets sometime gets released, because it puts a lot of rumors to rest. But like an idiot, I go out there and ask, "What is going on? What are you doing in my house?" Shouting, "Turn around, hands against the wall." Well, I didn't have much choice, because they spun me around, slammed me into the wall, and yanked my hands back, handcuffed me, dragged me out of my house. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Am I under arrest? What is this all about? Well, they pushed me into one of their vehicles. At this point, I'm seeing, well, back up a moment. I'm still in my coming out of my out of the bedroom, looking at them. I'm looking at about 6 or 7 people in full riot gear, helmets on. I'm looking at a riot shield, guns drawn, pointed at me. So body cam, of course. Jesus Christ, senior woman, thank you. So there was no discussion, and there was no. I didn't even think of doing anything else, and I don't want to get into what I might have done, but there was no question. This is law enforcement. I have to comply. I am not guilty of anything. I have nothing to worry about. So, okay, they put me in the car. They interrogate me, ask me about flying a drone over Area 51. I said, I never have. Some more questions, but you have flown a drone over Area 51, haven't you? No, I don't know what to tell you. So all the while, after a few moments, I'm realizing that I'm in Rachel. I'm realizing that my house in Las Vegas our house in Las Vegas is also under attack. And so happens that Linda was here. I was in Rachel. So I told them I want to talk to Linda right now, and I need to make sure that she's okay. So they actually let me talk to her for a moment. She could tell me that she's okay. And I don't want to go into details about the interrogation, but it got. I think they realized I'm not who they thought I was, and they eased up a little bit. There were some questions.
No, but you might want to continue that live stream. Somebody wants to know if you're going to do regular live streams.
Will you have a regular schedule? Not a regular schedule, but I promise you I will do more live streams. And whatever we can cover today, we're going to do next time. It's already over an hour. I know you guys, especially on the East Coast, it's getting late. So I'm probably going to at some point just finish this today and do another part, walking you through my website and walking you through Google Earth, through Area 51. I'm probably going to do that at another time. Yes, I will. Not regular schedule. Hey, I'm retired. I don't know what from one day to the next what I'm doing. So I promise you I will do another live stream, and I will let you know. It probably won't be for another couple of weeks, but promise I will do another. So, okay, moving on with the with the raid. I think they realized that I wasn't the threat that they were led to believe. Nevertheless, they were only able to give me so much information. I was finally, after all this was said and done, and they took about well over $20,000 worth of equipment, computer equipment, very expensive camera, my drone, out of both my office in Las Vegas and in Rachel. This happened maybe over a period of time of maybe an hour, hour and a half. I really don't know. At the end of all this, they finally presented me with a partial search warrant that begins on page 41. So what happened to page 1 through 40? I never saw those. I don't know what they include. The search warrant in very vague terms.
Battery.
Uh-oh. Well, you're not on camera. I'll go in through the door. The search warrant, in very vague terms, accuses me of violating some vague statutes that will not hold up in court, and they know that they will never try and press those because they don't want those tested in court. It's basically taking photos of a military installation. I can take photos of military installation from the outside all day long, and they can't do anything about it. They can make a law that says that, but the law is not legally enforceable. So I don't have anything to worry about, but the whole thing was a huge pain in the rear and cost me a good 32,000 all in all. Between the damage, about $7,000 worth of damage that they caused. Good 20 some odd thousand that they took of my equipment that I may or may not get back at the end of this investigation. They have 5 years to make before they have to give my stuff back. So we are 2 years into it. So in 3 years, I may get a totally outdated computer back and other stuff, a camera that is totally outdated and so forth. Thanks, little legs. I hope so too. So it's a big pain in the rear. The objective was to send a message, back off. And to some degree, I understand the concern. I think to some degree it is misunderstood my intentions. Maybe I could have been a little more clear about my intentions. I don't know. My intentions have never been and will never be to hurt this country. But they felt the need to send a message to the Area 51 research community, and that's what this was. Nothing will come out of it. My attorney assured me that, and I don't really worry about it all that much. It is a pain in the rear, and I would be lying if I would tell you that we both didn't have some PTSD after this. I will by no means compare this to wartime or to frontline PTSD. What we had to deal with is infinitesimal smaller than what these guys are dealing with. And I should probably not use that word, but we did have some, you wake up in the middle of the night, you hear noise outside. Are they coming back? Is that them? That kind of stuff. It pretty much went away by now. And I got to tell you, what was a huge help in all this was the support by the Area 51 research community. I started a website about the raid where I put all the documents that I have, all the information, photos of the damage and everything else. Here's the website. I put that out there. I have nothing to hide. I will continue to put any documentation, any communication that I receive in this case. I will continue to put that on that website. Like I said, I hope that at some point the body cam footage will be made available, and I would have no problem publishing that. I have nothing to hide. What helped us was the huge support from the community. I went on a bunch of shows after this, and there was quite a bit of public interest. In fact, after contacting several elected officials, we finally got the ear of Congresswoman Susie Lee's office. A very nice young man from her office inquired with the FBI about our case. The FBI they won't even answer our questions. They won't tell us what's going on, where my stuff is. I repeatedly requested that they would at least give me a copy of the data that I lost. I lost every single one of my backup drives. I don't have online backups, so I lost all my data, medical records, financial records, passwords, anything that you can imagine somebody takes all your mobile devices, your computer, and everything else away from you. How screwed you are. That's where I was. And they are supposed, even per the search warrant, they are supposed to give me a copy of my data. I've requested this several times. They just flat out ignore me. And then again, Congresswoman Susie Lee's office inquired with the FBI about this. They were stonewalled also. Basically, they were told, well, we can't tell you anything. It's an ongoing investigation. We can't tell you anything. I've even written what I think is a very respectful letter to the federal judge who signed the search warrant. She never responded. So nobody will even tell us what's going on, where we're at, what I may have done wrong, what they may be holding against me. So this is where we are. This is where we were 2 days after the raid. This is where we are today. No different. We have no idea what's going on. I did have, like I said, a lot of financial hardship through this. And I don't really like to do this, but after many of my friends recommended this, I set up a GoFundMe page. It's still up. I've had huge support. I have recovered over $19,000 worth of, out of the 32,000 that I'm out so far. To those who have helped, I can't thank you enough. Both Linda and I appreciate your support, and we can't thank you enough. It is the money that helps, yes, but what helps much more is the support. To know that there's somebody who feels with us, who understands where we're at, and folks, I can't. You have to be in a situation like this to appreciate it. How much that means. We will have your back. Thank you. That is very kind. And I appreciate everyone's support here. It's been a ride, and there was something I just meant to say, and I now it's gone by, guys. All I can say is I didn't do anything wrong. Linda sure as hell didn't do anything wrong. We were hassled. I don't want to get into the details of how this all started in a very aggressive manner. We don't hold anything against the people that were used to hassle us. It's never going to happen, but I wish I could have a conversation with the person or agency who started this and tell them who I really am. It's never going to happen, I know that, but it's a nice thought. So, what I can tell you is that I have nothing to hide. I did nothing wrong, and I will continue to do what I have done for the last 25 years, and that is running my website, running Dreamland Resort, publishing what I can justify about Area 51. There's things that I don't publish. I say that right out and take it for what it is. But what I think can be published, I publish. I started this YouTube channel, and I'm just going to flat out say it. Dreamland Resort, my website, has become an old man's club. A lot of us have been with the website for 25 years, and I feel that we need young blood. We need young people interested in this. So this YouTube channel, this live stream, And what I'm doing differently now is me trying to talk to the younger generation and get younger people. Okay, I'm 67. Okay, well, I'm 63, so we're right there together. But I'm trying to get younger people interested in this. And I don't do TikTok, I don't do any of that. But this is something, I figured it brings it home a little more. It's not as abstract as looking at a Area 51 panorama on a web page, but I'm showing it. This is what I'm doing. It's not very polished. I'm hoping to get some younger people interested in Area 51. There is still a lot to do. There's a lot to research, and if you're interested in Area 51, like I said, I wish I could meet with everyone who wants to meet with me and Rachel. It pains me that I can't, but if you want to get into this and you have questions on how to, shoot me an email. My contact information is on my website, webmaster@dreamlandresort.com. I want to get more people interested in this, not to spy, but because it's a great hobby, and it's just what we do. It's what a lot of us are interested in. And did you spend any time in jail? No, I did not. I
You weren't
did
even
not.
arrested.
I wasn't arrested. No charges were ever pressed. I was detained, as they call it, which means I was put in handcuffs, dragged out of my own house, kept outside for a few hours while they searched my house. But that was it, and that's pretty much the same thing for Linda when she was here in Vegas, and we were both detained but not arrested. I never spent time in jail. I have, except for I think one case in a traffic situation following an accident. I've never even been in front of a judge. So I'm a pretty boring guy. I'm a retired software guy. I mean, how much more boring does it get? So no, I haven't been in jail, and I don't expect to go there. So I was really hoping to take some questions now and then get into my website and take you for a walk through Google Earth, through Area 51. We'll do that another time, but at this point, if you have any questions, folks, fire away and we'll see how far we can get. In the meantime, what does that say?
There's a Grammar Patriot makes a nice comment about someday Area 51 will be open to the public and the mystery will be gone, just like Los Alamos and Oak Ridge.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted. There's an error message. More than one ingestion is using the primary URL. I'm getting an error message here. I have no idea what that means. I'm just going to ignore it.
I don't know what that is either.
It's covering up where I can see how many people are in the chat. But so let's get back to the questions. Aren't you the guy from the news? Yeah, I guess I am the guy from the news. I was on a bunch of shows. George Knapp had me on Coast to Coast, and I was
Mystery Wire.
I was on Mystery Wire, and I was on a couple of national shows. So I guess I am the guy from the news, whether I want it or not, and I really don't. But and why did I do that? Why did I go to the media? Because I have nothing to hide, and because all these rumors started. I heard stories about somebody in Rachel started this rumor about that the FBI dragged me out from under my house. I was hiding under my house, and they dragged me out from under my house, and this and that. It's all BS. And I want you folks to know this is what really happened, and I have nothing to hide. So that's why I went to the media, and also, who knows what kind of story someone might concoct around all this. So this is my way of letting everybody know. His thoughts on the rotating triangular tower. You know what? That is 20 years later still a mystery to me. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we have pretty much proven that it rotates. I think it's some kind of a radar deal, but what exactly it is, I don't know. I've heard I've heard people talk about it has to do something with acoustics, but I don't know that it's a mystery. They obviously pay pretty good attention to having it always in the same direction, except for a few occasions. I don't know. Is it true that big UFO is coming in 2027? If so, I didn't get the memo. They didn't let me know about it, so I don't know.
I sent Jared that
My
website.
website, okay, you send the website.
I sent to Jared.
And I see there's a donation. Thank you for that. Front. Thank you for that. What's your website again? You sent that. Do you know why the Japanese plates you have on the website have access over the what?
Skepticism plates.
Oh, okay. The airfield plates. That's the way they came. And by the way, the frequencies they list are wrong. So I think I remember them being partially visible, and what I can see of the frequencies, they are wrong. They are outdated. So that's the way they came. That's the way I got them. I didn't censor them, but again, frequencies are wrong. Procedures, though, are spot on. I have been able to verify that. Greetings from Germany. Well, greetings zurück nach Germany. You still live stream scanner frequencies on the website. I did for a brief period of time entertain the thought of scanning, of streaming live scanner. Our regional internet is very limited in bandwidth, so they keep promising us to run fiber optics. That's been going on for several years now. Hasn't happened yet. I hope that at some point they will run fiber optics, and if and when that happens, I may do that. But it would have to be, I would have to not stream some frequencies because again, I don't want to live stream something that is not kosher to live stream. 112 NL, thank you for your donation. Do you believe the prolonged confiscated equipment was more about the message than really believing you had? Yes, they should. Yes, I think it was more about the message. If they haven't in over 2 years analyzed every bit and every byte on my computer, I'd be very surprised. Obviously, they didn't find anything. Yeah, it was more about the hassle and the message than anything else. Gary, first live chat, have to work out the bugs. Yeah. Yeah, I'm working out the bugs. I'm learning as I'm going along, Gary. And thank you for your years and years of hanging with our website and now with the channel here. Do you think they are closer to having radar to defeat stealth? Good question. That's actually one of the projects that's going on right now is based on defeating passive radar systems. You probably saw my video about the FM radio station at the back gate on 99.9 megahertz. There is a lot of radar research going on. Yes, they are absolutely working on radar to defeat stealth. What they do is, and again, I'm not divulging any secrets here. This is you can Google this. They are linking radar systems together for much higher resolution, much like you can put several monitors together to get a bigger picture. So they link radar stations together for higher resolution. The Russians do that, the Chinese do that, we do that. Everyone is researching on that right now. And it's always a race, better stealth. The F-117, of course, was the first real stealth fighter. It proved to be able to be defeated. Then came the F-22, the F-35, the Next Generation Air Dominance project, which I hopefully will be able to talk a little bit more about in the next stream. So yeah, absolutely. There's always this race of, okay, we got the stealth here. We're going to counter stealth here. We're going to do counter stealth here, and it's always one step ahead of the other guy. And I can only hope, and I have faith in the people that work at Area 51. They're brilliant people working there. I can only hope that they are one step ahead. Recommendations for spots to take pictures at night. Sky around Rachel. Well, a great spot is actually the black mailbox still.
Green mailbox?
The green mailbox, yeah. It's gone through several iterations. It's now really just a novelty tourist attraction, but it's still a great spot to meet. It's a green mailbox along the highway. If you go to my website and you look at the Area 51 periphery section, you're going to see the mailbox. You're going to see a photo of what it looks like today. And that is one of the great spots to sit. Another spot, and I think I actually have a couple of good view spots on our website. There's some in the maps section. If you look next time, I'll walk you through that. There are actually great spots to watch the night sky. If you have a vehicle with a little bit high clearance, go up to the Power Lines overlook. The road doesn't, it's been improved quite a bit. It's not as rocky anymore as it used to be, but you do need high clearance. It's a little steep in one or two spots, but that's a great spot to watch the night skies and camp. And there's also a spot not far away from Rachel, right by the gravel pit, about a couple of miles outside of Rachel. It's kind of high ground, and you're looking over Rachel, and you're seeing the valley in front of you, the back gate. Big area for you. You can put a big RV in there. A friend that used to come up to Rachel used to camp there. It's a great spot to watch the night skies. And the black mailbox, what I call the gravel area, you will see that on my website. Power Lines overlook, those are all good spots to watch. Is it true that something big? Okay.
You already answered that one.
What intrigues you the most? What intrigues me most about Area 51? The mystery. Clearly the mystery, and the fact that I will never really learn the real facts. If I'm lucky, I may live long enough to see what they work on right now. They are so far ahead of the curve, and that's, to catch a little glimpse of the mystery and of what they played with at Area 51. The hidden campsite in the hills, yes, great spot, the hidden campsite. Directions are also on my website. It's a little rocky to get in there, but you're sheltered from the road. You're behind a hill. There's not a lot of room to turn around a big RV, but if you have a small camper or something like that, camper van, you'll be fine there. And that's a great spot with a view of the Area 51 airspace. That's actually, the hidden campsite is actually the very first spot where I ever spent the night when I started exploring Area 51. So yeah, that is definitely a great spot. They bring materials for construction at the site through Rachel? No, they don't. Any construction material to Area 51 is brought in from the Nevada test site. And that's what makes Area 51 such a perfect location, because it's right next to the existing Nevada test site. There's construction material, there's construction equipment, all the infrastructure already in place, concrete plant, and all this stuff is already right next door in a big restricted area. So it's being construction material, anything else that is being brought into Area 51 is being trucked in from the south through Mercury, up the Mercury Highway, and then through a gate to Area 51. So you can't even, you watch the trucks go into Mercury and you don't know, are they going up to Area 51? Are they going to Mercury? Are they going to any other place in the Nevada test site? We just don't know. So you can't really sit there and count how much stuff is going in there. It's not being trucked through Rachel. There's a back gate near Rachel, and sometimes you can see construction equipment going in and out there, but most of it is being brought in through the Mercury Highway from Mercury side, from the south, from Highway 95. So the government will have a hard time maintaining this as a smart thing. is to admit and say nothing else. Yeah, exactly. That's the smart thing is to admit it exists and say nothing else. That's exactly what they've been doing. Instead of saying, well, there's no Area 51, they finally said, yeah, we have a operating location at Groom Lake, and that's all we're going to tell you about it.
Did you see Jared's question about what intrigues you the most about Area 51?
Yeah, I thought I answered that.
You might have, I might have missed it.
The mystery of Area 51,
Okay.
really the ongoing mystery. Earlier was that he has no knowledge of anything happening. Okay, yeah. Oh, that was you. Okay. And before, I'm just, I will continue to answer questions, but for those that have to tune out, I will definitely do another live stream in which I will show you some of my website panoramas of Area 51 taken from Tikaboo Peak, from mountaintops. And I will also guide you through Area 51. We will do a tour around Area 51 on Google Earth. I will talk a little bit more about projects at Area 51. I will make sure to let you all know in time about the next live stream. And thank you for tuning in. Again, I will continue to work on questions here, but if you have to tune out, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. So, okay, let's go on with the questions here. I got in that, what? I got in there twice in the Prius. Where you look? Not into Area 51, I hope. Oh, you're talking the efficient RV. Okay, you're talking about the, yeah. I know you told me that in offline. I remember that. You're a brave man. I wouldn't take a Prius in there, but it can be done, obviously, and especially if it's a rental and you really don't care about it.
Crispy potatoes is at the bottom.
Have you done the Nevada National Security Site tour? I have done it probably 4 or 5 times. Very early on in my research, I've done it. And as you probably know, if you have done it, you see all the craters and all the nuclear stuff from back when they were doing nuclear tests. And you get to what they call Sedan crater on the northern part, in the northern part of the test site. Big crater where they were actually testing using nukes for excavation projects, which didn't work out very well, but it ended up being a big crater. So you stand at Sedan crater, and that is about the closest I have ever been on to that side of Area 51, because you can actually see the road leading up to, and you can see power lines leading along the road to a gate in the distance. And I asked the tour guide, where do these power lines go, and what is that gate back there? Well, I don't know. Are they going to Area 51? And he looks me straight in the eye and says, there is no Area 51 in the Nevada test site. Technically, he was correct. It's not part of the Nevada test site, but of course he knew full well where those power lines go and what the gate is for. So Sedan crater is as close as you can get on to gate 700 on that side of Area 51. There's 3 big gates leading into Area 51. The back gate near Rachel, about 10 miles outside of Rachel, then the Groom Lake Road gate and gate 700, which goes to Area 51 from the Nevada test site, and that is where all the traffic, the delivery traffic goes in. And by the way, when you look, I'll show you that next time. When you look at Google Earth, you'll see that where that road gets into Area 51, the first building they hit is a shipping and receiving facility. So that's a huge storage facility where the trucks either get unloaded, or in some cases where they have to be trucked into the base. The driver from outside is basically off duty. They get to wait there, whatever, and somebody else who is clear to drive in the base actually takes that truck and brings it to where it needs to go. So again, I mean, delivery trucks drivers don't know either what's going on. Getting back to the test site, if you have to sign up for it, when I first did it, it wasn't such a big deal. Now you have to sign up for it long in advance. And if you're really lucky, you get to see the test center pretty much in the middle of the test site. That is where they were monitoring and basically conducting the nuclear tests. You see the bleachers where people were sitting and watching the nukes going off in front of them. I'm afraid every single one of them is dead now. They had no idea what they were playing with in those days. But it's great to see now. It's safe to do the tour. You can't take any photos, you can't take any video. But like I said, I've been able to do it several times. And one time I was actually invited to go along with a group of Native Americans who were allowed to do a ceremony in there. And a good friend who was part of the Native American community invited me to partake, to tag along. That was probably the most memorable and the most moving tour that I have done of the test site, because we got to see areas that are not necessarily open to the general public. And it was very moving to also witness the ceremony that they did to, unfortunately, I forgot the name of the god that they had associated with in the mountains. It was a very moving experience. The tour, it's part of the, if you go to the Atomic Test Site Museum website here in Las Vegas, let me Google it real quick for you. But if you Google Atomic Test Site Museum or Atomic Testing Museum, you'll find the testing museum here in Vegas, and they conduct the tour now. I'm pretty sure they have a link to the tour on their website. If you have trouble finding it, email me and I'll look up the information for you. It is conducted by the Department of Energy, but in cooperation with the Test Site Museum now. So that's where the tour starts, and they kind of organize the whole thing. Oh, you found it. Okay, perfect, great. Sign up for the tour. I can only encourage you. It is. There's so much history there, and I learned so much on that tour. Not necessarily, I didn't do the tour necessarily to learn more about Area 51, which I didn't, but it's just the atomic history of that site is just, amazing what they did to try and keep our country safe. And I don't agree with everything that happened back in those days, but they did to the best of their knowledge, and it's just very interesting to learn about that history.
Okay, first, last, read that one.
Uh,
Me.
First, last, was easier site that I read. You had realized that the DHL was scraping data from your computer. If you to realize it was snooping. What is your site? I'm not sure I understand. The question is, okay, the FBI confiscating my computer and taking my equipment. My thoughts, I don't have anything to hide. They're going to find that I'm a pretty boring guy. They're going to find more of the same on my computer that I have on my website.
Do you think the DHS was scraping your website? I never heard that.
No.
Somebody else.
Well, yes, in a way, scraping is probably not the word I would use. I'm sure they are monitoring my discussion forum. They'll be stupid not to, as they are also monitoring other forums too, where similar things are discussed. Not because we are such interesting people, but because they are doing their job. And there's probably some poor schmuck that has nothing to do all day but read the drivel on my site and on others. I can only pity the guy because, besides all that, we're a pretty damn boring bunch. We are not spies. And don't get that boring wrong. I think it's a fascinating hobby, but that's all it is. So we're not spies. I don't have the CIA breathing down my neck or any of that. I really don't worry about it too much.
That's interesting.
Potential violence is often called irrational is when DoD conducts advanced tests into American security inquiries can be directed to. Yeah, well, that's pretty much what they say. It's a base where stuff is happening that keeps us safe. And if I had to sum Area 51 up in one sentence, that's pretty much exactly what I would say. And a lot of it is nobody's business, rightfully so. And if they're doing their job, it will be nobody's business. And if it is out in the open, then somebody's not doing their job, honestly. I'd love to do the Tikabo Peak hike, but not sure I can rent a vehicle that would be sufficient out of Vegas. Well, the thing is with the Tikabo Peak, the The access road is very rough in spots. You might have looked at my video that I did going up there. Not the hike itself, but the access road. There's one really rough spot. So if you rent something, you really want to have something with four-wheel drive and high clearance. Michael has used a Jeep in the past. He's done very well with that. But it's a little rough, and the hike itself is, well, 20 years ago it was a lot easier than it is today for me. Let's put it that way. The secrecy just annoys me. Well, it's not so needless. The thing is, these people, secrecy is a good thing because they have to keep things secret, and it gets ingrained in their blood so much that some people take it a little too far, and that's why it gets annoying. So yeah, I think there has to be some secrecy to keep it safe. Okay, you can rent a Jeep Wrangler from Alamo. If you want to get a better.
Yeah,
No way.
Interesting.
No way, I did not know that.
That's great.
Switzerland gets a better rate than.
Well,
Actually, I vaguely remember that we talked about that, but yeah, that's funny. That is a great tip, and don't tell them where you're going because most car rentals don't like you to go anywhere off maintained highways or maintained roads. Showing up in the connections. Yeah, well, it's a lot of the stuff gets blown out of proportion. So you might have you probably recall reading something, and a lot of the stuff gets regurgitated over and over and blown out of proportion. And you might have read something that really, a lot of the coverage about our case, I'm reading it and I'm like, yeah, well, it's not quite right, but whatever. People get the point. So people make things, I don't want to say make things up, but misunderstand things. I'm doing an interview, I'm saying things that I think are clear. Somebody writes it down or records it and they interpret it differently. So mistakes happen, and it could have very well been a case of that nature. So yeah, well, by all means, and if Ryan Ellis, if you have any questions about Tikaboo, there's a couple of videos about the access road that you probably saw already. If you have questions, shoot me an email, and I am going to do a video about the hike here sometime very soon. So that will be up here within the next, I don't know, couple of months or so, 3, 4, 5 months. Whenever this old guy finds it in him to attempt the hike. So,
last
possible to
question.
camp it. Is it possible to camp it? Yes, absolutely. You can camp at Lady Summit. There's actually a nice little spot right by the trash barrels when you come over the summit. There's an open area. It's not even road. The open area is right next to the highway, kind of shielded from it a little bit by a little hill. And it's if you're driving from Rachel from Vegas towards Rachel, it's on the left-hand side. It's an open area that goes around the backside of a hill, level ground. You can pull any rig in there that you want, plenty of room to turn around. You can camp right there.
A nice spot right next to the trash.
A nice spot next to the trash. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Yeah.
You said it was right.
I know. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. So, and the great thing about Coyote Summit is that it is one of the great spots to watch red flag exercises. You can watch sometimes low-flying jets come right through the gap there at Coyote Summit. One of my videos, I'm taking you guys up to the hill near Coyote Summit that has a beautiful view of that whole area. Unfortunately, I didn't see any jets on that day, but it shows you the scenery, shows you how to get up there with GPS coordinates and everything. Great spot to camp and to watch for aircraft. That's actually years ago I've taken some awesome photos of 2 F-117s coming right through that gap, totally unexpected. I'm sitting there looking in one direction and I'm seeing them out of the corner of my eye, boom, coming right by, and they not turn around, but they did a big circle and came back through, and I got some really good photos of the F-117s. So it's definitely a great spot to camp. Also in the valley, in Tikaboo Valley, kind of maybe 5 miles past the black mailbox on the opposite side of where the mailbox is, there's a kind of a paved-ish area. It's rough pavement. They put a layer of like excuse me. They put a layer of some asphalt stuff down there for the Storm Area 51 event, about which I'm going to be talking next time. That's also a great spot. Level, plenty of room, and also a great spot to camp and watch the airspace. How long have you lived in Rachel? Well, on and off since 2003 when I bought my property in Rachel. Of course, I was working at the time, so I spent weekends in Rachel. I had a travel trailer on my property at first. I step by step developed it. I did a video. I don't think I did it in English. I did a video for my German audience because they were really interested in Rachel and how we live there. It does have English captions, so you can watch that. It shows you the propane tank that we have and a little bit. I can't really show a lot of my house. I don't want, that just wouldn't be a smart thing to do. But it shows you how we live, and I'm telling you a little bit about, okay, well, you have a transformer for power, we have a well for water, and this and that. So I started living in Rachel part-time on weekends. I was fortunate enough to be able to work from Rachel sometime. Then, of course, when I retired in 2016, I built a house, and I've more and more migrated to Rachel. What is it like being there for an extended period of time? Awesome. That's all I can say. We have a great community. People always think, the question invariably comes up, well, is everyone in Rachel all about Area 51? That is one thing we are interested in. What I think unites all of us in Rachel is the fact that we are individualists. We like to be left alone. We like our freedom. I think freedom is, if I wanted to define myself in one word, what I'm looking for, then it is freedom. And that is what we all look for in Rachel. We have people from all walks of life in Rachel. Most of them are retired. And yes, I'm probably the most interested in Area 51, and my friends, when we get together for a drink or whatever, it's like, oh, did you see this and that last night? And did you hear that last night? We talk about it, but it's not all we talk about. It's not what defines our community, Rachel. So it's a great place to live. I'm so thankful for this wonderful community of friends that we have in Rachel. Unfortunately, most of you visiting Rachel will never see that side of Rachel. You will see a different side of Rachel that I don't want to get into, that we don't have much to do with. And I think it's sad that you're not going to see our side of Rachel, why we like it so much. Rachel is for us freedom. If I want to, I get on my quad, I putt around in the hills. We do Jeep tours with the Rachel gang. I don't sit on the mountain all day long, 24/7, and watch Area 51. I listen to my scanners. I got my scanner running at night. I'm listening to what's going. I'm recording it, and in the morning I have my cup of coffee and I'm listening to what went on last night. It is a hobby, but it is not what defines us. We don't live for Area 51 research. Life in Rachel is awesome. It is freedom. I think it's the most freedom I've experienced in my life. And there are great people there. There are great people in our county. And I wouldn't want it any other way. What goes on in 52, 53, 54? Well, it's probably a tongue-in-cheek question, but I got to tell you that there is actually an Area 52. Area 52 is a Tonopah test range. It's called that sometimes, not really officially, but Tonopah test range is about 60 miles northwest of Area 51, another secret base. So I'll talk about that in a little more detail next time. I don't know what's going on in 53 and 54. They are so secret that nobody has told me about it. Are the motion sensors only by the roadway or all over there? They are mostly by the roads. They pick up moving vehicles driving by. So if you're driving, and that's also documented on my website, and I have a video about that also. If you're driving on the dirt roads approaching Area 51, about 5, 6, 7, 8 miles outside the boundary, you start tripping sensors. So boys know that you're coming, and they can turn on their big camera on Bald Mountain, watch who's there, or do whatever they do to prepare for a visitor at the gate. Used to see me drunk at the bar at the inn, telling story. Yep, that's unfortunately what the tourists see. That is not what makes Rachel.
Our beer. You know him.
Yeah, I've exchanged emails with him. Yeah, unfortunately, that is what a lot of tourists see, and it pains me that they see our town that way. I used to work in a secure but not secret site when I was in the military. Even then, the local gossip about who may or may not be involved with the cover-up. Oh, hell yeah. The guys at Area 51, I mean, when I talk to the roadrunners, the people that worked out there in the 60s, they have all kinds of stories of how they made fun of the people that came out there. For instance, they started having. Well, this is a little bit off topic here, but great story nonetheless. The Russians just started having in the 60s. The Russians just started having spy satellites. So the people at Area 51 back then would actually paint fake shapes of aircraft, of fantasy aircraft, on the tarmac. And the Russians flew over with their spy satellite, and they were just sitting there scratching their heads. What this funny-looking plane is that's sitting on the ground there? And all it was something painted on the tarmac. They actually went as far as putting heater units where the exhaust would have been, so they looked on thermal imaging that there's actually a hot exhaust in the back.
Oh my God.
One of the little stories, I posted the link earlier, go to the Roadrunners website. They have so many of these great stories on the website, and I'm really trying to preserve their legacy. Unfortunately, of course, I told you they worked there in the 60s, so a lot of them are up there in age, and I'm trying to the best I can to preserve their history and their legacy. They're all great guys. So yeah, well, it's funny sometimes, and when getting back to the lighter side of things, it's funny sometimes when I hear some of the things that people talk about Area 51. I see things posted somewhere, and all this hush hush and boo 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 stuff. Area 51 is a military base where they're doing R&D on military hardware. That's what they do, and they have to keep it secret to keep it from the Russians. That's what it boils down to. They don't do it for nefarious reasons. They don't film the moon landing there. None of that. It's a military base, and it's. I've heard over the years. I've heard the craziest stories about what goes on there. Yeah, thank you. That's the Roadrunners website. So it's getting late, and I'd like to thank all of you for sticking with us. This was my first podcast, and I hope you enjoyed it. If there's no more questions, I think we'll wrap it up at this point.
Yeah.
I promise I do another one soon, and it's going to be less about me. It's going to be more about my website, about Area 51, the videos, and of course, taking a walk through Area 51. I'll prepare that. I'll post it as I get a chance. And Area 51 is to make revenue. Yeah. Secret private roads? No, not quite. But it is a tourist attraction, nevertheless. The state of Nevada has actually dedicated Highway 375 as extraterrestrial highway. They did that when the movie Independence Day came out. So they're definitely, and of course, the local bar in Rachel cashes in, rightfully so, on the Area 51 fame. Our county lives from tourism. I think tourism, Lincoln County is a very sparsely populated county, and I think tourism is the number one source of income in our county. We need tourists. We need you guys to come visit. Have a good time. Enjoy Area 51. Do it safely. Go to my safely. We definitely welcome tourists, and I really don't think that the guys at the base are too worried about the regulars. Every day, couple dozen people driving up to the gate, having a good time. That's what it's all about, having a good time and camping in the area, enjoy the beauty. From my Rachel website, maybe get some ideas of old mines, old ghost towns to check out. There's so much more than just Area 51 in our area too. So by all means, come visit, have a good time, and hi from Florida. Well, hi from Nevada. So I think I want to wrap it up here. I will see you all very soon, I hope. Hope you enjoyed it. Jonathan, no, I talked about that. I don't believe so. In 25 years, I have not seen any evidence for that. I believe there's aliens out there somewhere in space, but not in Area 51. So with that, thank you very much and have a good night. Thanks for sticking with us. We will see you soon again. Have a good night.